Guys, it's Will back once again. We're here for another UFC fight card prediction. As we've got Calvin Kattar against Dan Ige as our main event here as we continue our run on UFC Fight Island. Coming off UFC 251, which was a great card. Some great fights. I had a really good night myself, which was nice. And I'm hoping to kind of move it into this card here. This card I really like. I think there's a lot of really good fights here. I think there's live dogs throughout the card. And yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of talking you through this. Just want to say a massive thank you. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, be notified when I come online to do my predictions. And if you can always give me a thumbs up, it's always much appreciated. And just a big thank you for helping grow the channel. I still got the goal of hitting 4,000 subs by the end of 2020. I think we're about 3.7. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully getting close to that by the end of the year. So yeah, hopefully you guys had a good card last night. And I'm really looking forward to kind of talking through this one here. I've spent most of my morning kind of watching some fights. I was supposed to put this video out yesterday, but dad duty's kind of getting in the way. So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of speaking through this. Light heavyweight bout, we've got Kenneth against Jorge Gonzalez, which kind of threw me off because I heard this Timo Feucht, I think, was supposed to fight there. But then I read that he got taken off the card because neo-Nazi things have been out there in the public forum, and the UFC wanted nothing to do with that, so they threw him to the side here. Kenneth I know about because he fought in Cage Warriors, he fought in Dana White's Contender Series. And to me, Gonzalez does not look good. Only watched like two, maybe three, two fights. I think that Gonzalez, I think he can get taken down. I think Kenneth Berg is the kind of guy, when you watch his fights, he will take you to the ground and he can kind of dominate you through that. He did that in the Dana White Contender Series, but they ended up just kind of getting caught by Tricoli, who I think that got turned to a no contest because he popped for some stuff in his body. USADA caught him with something. So Kenneth Berg, to me, he will want to get the fight to the ground. He will look to use his ground and pound, look to use his submissions, which is his strong suit. And from what I've seen of Gonzalez, he's fought a lot of kind of low caliber opposition, not very good in my opinion. So I think Kenneth Berg's going to come in here, take him to the ground. I think just use that top position and probably get a submission or a TKO victory on the ground. Yeah, but I've got Kenneth Berg for the W there. One of my favourite prospects in the whole entire UFC, and probably the best division in the UFC, Jack Shore against Aaron Phillips. Just reading up about the people that have, I think he's had 4 separate people that have kind of turned down the fight or fell out of the fight due to coronavirus or whatever. We've got Jack Shore against Aaron Phillips, but Jack Shore is a guy that I've had my eye on for so long, and I just think he's one of the best kind of prospects coming through in some of the divisions. Hopefully the UFC kind of build him up, because that division is a killer's row. We've seen with Peter Yan last night. He's been around for 2 years. He's now got the strap. Take it slow with this guy. He's undefeated as an amateur, undefeated as a pro, Cage Warriors champion, defended his belt, headline shows in his home country of Wales. And you've seen against Nohelan Hernandez where his strong suit really sits. He takes the back so easily, he can get the fight to the ground. Once he hits the ground, he is, I think, an elite back taker. And I maybe shouldn't be saying that considering he fought Nohelan Hernandez, but you've seen in previous fights, once he gets the fight to the mat, he's pretty seamless at finding his way into positions that he can win the fight. So when you look at Aaron Phillips, when this fight got made, I was like, Aaron Phillips, why does that name ring a bell? It feels like I broke down his fights before. And then I went back and looked at his record, and it's like 2014. I broke down his fights with Matt Hobar and Sam Sicilia, which he lost then. And then he's been away for the last 6 years. He's won a few fights. He lost to Gutierrez. I think he got his leg broken that one. I think Gutierrez was throwing heavy leg kicks, and he took a couple of years out, came back, watched a couple of his fights this morning. He's not fighting high caliber opposition. He's been taken down in some of those fights, and I think that's just a bad recipe against someone like Jack Shore. Jack, in my opinion, I still think he needs to work in his hands. I still think that's something he needs to do, but I still think that he is fairly decent on there. I think he can compete with someone like Aaron Phillips on there. A black belt is Jack Shore, and he's opened his own gym, so he's kind of made this camp around him. Brett Johns has come in and is a full-time member of their squad as well. Having them two guys kind of working together, I think is a great thing. I'm just really high on Jack Shore, and I'm probably going to end up betting Jack Shore inside the distance. The line here in the UK is -110. And I really like that line because I think once he gets this fight to the ground, and just seeing the previous few fights from Aaron Phillips, I think Jack Shore can get him out here inside the 3 rounds. So I'm probably going to end up betting Jack Shore -110 in this spot. I just think once he gets the back, I think he will find a way to get a submission. I think Phillips is scrappy. He might have the more kind of technical advantage on the feet, but I just think Jack Shore's the better talent, and I think he's going to go a long way in the sport and in the division as well. Diana Belbita against Liana Jojua, very low level women's MMA. I think you've got the striker v grappler here. I think Jojua is very bad on the feet, where I think she's all right on the ground. And Belbita is someone who I actually think that she's pretty scrappy. Don't think she's all that great. But she's, like I say, she's tough. She showed that in the Molly McCann fight there. She was landing some fairly decent shots, but really couldn't stop all that many takedowns. And that's Jojua's kind of strong suit once she gets it there. She did that against Sarah Morris, but she never really had much on the ground from there, which is a little bit surprising to me. So for me here, it's really just determining where this fight's going to take place, because if Jojua can get this to the ground, I think she can submit Jojua maybe comfortably. And I've seen things in the McCann fight there where she didn't really get back to her... Well, she did get back to her feet a few times, but honestly, low-level women's MMA, I'm kind of more inclined to kind of go with the underdog, even though it's Liana Jojua, and she's very green. You've seen that in her UFC debut. Belbita's been around a kind of long time as well. She's been out in the regional scene. She's a little bit of a known name in the European kind of MMA scene, but... yeah, this is not going to be a most confident pick, but I'm going to go Jojua, maybe to win via submission, if not a decision. I'd rather take a shot in the dog in that spot, but yeah, I'm not super confident. Didn't really watch all too much in those two girls, a couple of fights each, and it was just enough to kind of make a determining shot on an underdog, so I'll take Jojua, not confident. Going to be my least confident picks in this card. Light heavyweight division, Modestas Bukaukas against Andreas Michailldis. This could be another live dog situation here. If he wasn't coming in such short notice, I think if he had a full camp in this, I think he could have possibly beat Bukaukas. I still think he could, because when I watched Bukaukas' fights this morning, the guy cannot stop a takedown to save his life, but he seems to find a way to get back to his feet, and once he gets back to his feet, he seems to find a way to win the fight. I think his striking's decent. I think he's got a submission game if he can find the back, and I do think he's got the more technical kind of advantage there. I like his 1-2. I think he's got a really nice 1-2, but he also follows it up with a nice left high kick, which I really like, and he's got some power. Did watch a fight this morning back in the day when he got knocked out dead by Johnny Jitsu, John Redmond. That was a beautiful... He got too aggressive and ate a massive right hand and got knocked out really badly. But he is the natural light heavyweight here against Michailldis, who is a natural 185er. What's up, Buffo and Nabita? I see you guys in the chat there. I appreciate everyone. Hit that like button like he's saying if you can. But Michailldis, a guy that I kind of know. He went over to Russia, fought a couple of guys. Fought, I think, was it Vladimir Minev, I think it was. That was a slop fest, an absolute sloppy fight where both guys gassed. He was jumping in for takedowns. Minev was hitting him with little pitter-patter strikes in that third round. Eventually, Michailldis just kind of turtled up and went and really just let the kind of ref kind of stop the fight. He didn't really kind of contest it. He just kind of let the fight kind of play out from there. And he is coming in here in short notice. He is like I said, a natural 185er, so he's going to be the smaller guy. If I've seen more kind of grappling from him, and you have kind of seen a little bit, I think the fight before, in fact his last fight against that dude, who was pretty sloppy himself, took the fight to the ground and then just kind of rolled out ground and pound. There was the Fortuna fight where he kind of caught him with a spinning kind of back kick, a spin kick to the head, and then followed that up there. And yeah, I think on a full camp, Michailldis could actually, I think he could be very live. I actually still think he's very live, but to me, just looking at it, I think Bukaukas is more fluid on the feet. He's more technical, more powerful, And what I like about him is, so even though he gets taken down a lot, and you've seen this through his whole entire career, he finds a way to get back to his feet. And once he gets back to his feet, he can go and go and go, and he's got some power there. So I kind of like that. I'll probably be looking to fade Bukaukas going forward. I think he's got holes in his game that'll get um, looked at very, very closely by opposition going forward, that they can beat this guy from there. So I'm going to take Bukaukas. I'm going to take him via TKO in the mid to kind of late part of this fight. It could end up being a little bit sloppy. Modestas as well is kind of known here in the UK as a guy that was on a show called Take Me Out. You'll see that on YouTube, which is a kind of game show kind of over here, where he's trying to get the girls' attention and see if he can get a date out of it. And the dude got a date out of it, so fair play him for that. But I'll take Bukaukas TKO late round 2, early round 3. But yeah, Michailldis could be live in this spot, but I'd just rather go Bukaukas in that one. Ricardo Ramos against Lerone Murphy. Good fight. You guys have known I've been high on Ramos for a long time. Lerone Murphy was a complete unknown to me, even though he comes out the UK circuit, but I thought he gave a good account of himself against Zubara Tuhugov, where looked all right against a kind of tough guy. We've seen that how tough Tuhugov is in that spot there. But I liked his striking. I liked his gameness. I thought he was a very, very game opponent, and really came in there and gave a good account of himself. Ramos to me I've had such a high ceiling for this guy. I thought he's been good for a very, very long time. But like I said, I think the sharp striking of Lerone will kind of play out a little bit here. But I've got a big kind of worry about his ground game, because we did see Tuhugov, and he is a grappler. We did see Tuhugov take him down and kind of work him on the ground. Well, not really work him. It was kind of reactionary takedowns to where he got him down, but Lerone kind of popped back up, and then he kind of had the advantage on the feet, so it kind of played out to the draw there. Ramos, to me, I think he's got a massive advantage if he can get this to the ground with his jiu-jitsu. I think on the feet, he's got a lot of output. He's got a lot of flashy strikes. He likes to throw that spinning back elbow. He caught Johnny Newsom with an absolute... How Newsom even kind of stuck around in that fight, in my opinion, after that shot, was impressive to say the least. He's only lost in the UFC to Said Nurmagomedov, who's an absolute beast himself, coming off obviously his 2 wins over Johnny Newsom and Gary Gorey, where he got that beautiful sub in the first round. I think if it stays on the feet, I think Lerone's going to have opportunities to win the fight there. I just think Ramos could get the fight to the ground. I think he will kind of keep the fight there longer than what Tuhugov is. I think he's got more kind of top heavy skills and keeping the fight there with his jiu-jitsu. But like I say, I still haven't seen all that much of Lerone Murphy, so I still need to see a little bit more. I've seen some people saying that they think Lerone's live. I'm not one of those people. I think Ramos could actually submit him here. I'm actually going to pick him via submission in the second round. So Ricardo Ramos via sub for me there. Chris Fishgold against Jared Gordon. This is one I've been going back and forward on, because I'm not overly high on Jared Gordon, and I'm not super high on Chris Fishgold, but Fishgold's one of those kind of do-or-die fighters where he could get you out there in the first round. He could kind of gas out in the second, and you could get him out of there. Lost last time out to McCann or McCann, and you've seen that McCann's got some elite submission skills. You've seen that last night. I think that once he locks something up, it's very, very hard to get him off. And you saw it in the Fishgold fight there, where Fishy's also got some great jiu-jitsu skills. He's been a guy who's submitted a lot of guys throughout his career in his Cage Warriors run. But this fight to me is very, very hard to be confident on either side, because Gordon, to me, he's been melted many times. But I don't know whether Fishgold's got the kind of big power to take him out. Even though I was watching the Dan Moret fight this morning, he was kind of getting pieced up a little bit. But what I like from Fishgold, and I know it was against Calvin Kattar, come out there very aggressive, landed some decent shots, got a takedown, but then ultimately just the absolute technical whiz that is Calvin Kattar really pieced him up, beat him up really, really badly. Jared Gordon, to me, like I said, I'm not super high. I like the pace that he can kind of maybe keep, and that's something where I think he can maybe win this fight through that, is through his pace late in the fight there. But I think for the first 8 minutes, I think Fishgold's going to be very, very live, but I can see this being very, very kind of sloppy. I'm struggling really to pick pick this fight. I'm seeing people, I think, I've had a couple of people message me think that Jared Gordon could win this very easily. Like I said, I'm just not high on Jared Gordon at all. I do think he's fought the better caliber opposition with your obviously a Charles Oliveira going in there with someone like that. I think Silva's a dangerous guy. He's a big banger. Carlos Diego Ferreira's always tough. One of the good guys at 155. I don't know. I think I'm going to take Fishgold. I'm going to take him. Oh, geez, that's a tough pick for me. I'll take Fishgold. That's my kind of gut feeling, but it might be a little bit biased as well because I think Chris Fishgold's one of the nicest guys kind of in the UK MMA scene as well. But yeah, I'm not going to be super confident in this. I'm going to take Chris Fishgold. I'm going to take him via submission. I think he can maybe lock something up here and get a win, maybe late round 1, early round 2, but not super confident there. John Phillips against Khamzat Chimaev. I like this Chimaev guy. I've heard about him a little bit. Coming out of the All-Stars gym in Sweden, I watched these fights this morning, fought in a really good organisation called in Brave. And like I say, John Phillips, to me, outside of the knockout threat, I think Chimaev, and the short notice kind of throws me off a little bit, obviously. But John Phillips, to me, is very beatable. I think Chimaev can take him down. I think he can submit him very easily. I think he can hold position very easily on John Phillips. And John Phillips, to me, kind of just saved his job against Alan Almadovsky, who's not a UFC caliber kind of fighter, in my opinion. Lost his 3 fights. Charles Bird got stopped by Kevin Holland. Actually, kind of think he was a little bit unlucky against Jack Marshman. But I like this Chimaev guy. I think that he will know that he doesn't really want to mess with the power of John Phillips, so he takes this to the ground. And I think he will do that throughout the entire fight and maybe hold... I think he can hold a pace as well, which I really, really like. But I just like the grappling of this guy. I think he's going to be a really good addition to the UFC. I think... obviously, when he's coming in at 6-0 against a guy with a lot of experience in John Phillips, a little bit kind of sketchy in my opinion. But I like Chimaev to get the fight to the ground. I like him to control parts of that there. I actually think he's going to stop him via submission. So I've got Chimaev probably via a sub in the second round there. So, moving on to the main card. And I have my biggest bet ever that I've ever made in MMA on this fight here. Abdul Razak Alhassan against Mounir Lassez. And I bet minus 200 on Alhassan. Now, there is a couple little things here, obviously, that's a little bit concerning with Alhassan. Obviously, he had this whole court case thing and sexual allegations against him, which he was cleared for, not fought in a while. He is 34 years old, but the guy is so scary as an opponent in there. It's kind of crazy, man. He's got some like next level power once he plants those feet, and we've seen some devastating knockouts. I remember seeing him in Belfast against Charlie Ward, and like his shots sounded like gunshots going off, like when he was hitting Charlie Ward. And the guy is so strong. You see those tree trunks legs. He's got the judo background. I thought even in the loss to Omari Akhmadov, he showed he can stick it out there with a very tough guy. Took that to a split. The right decision was Akhmadov got there. Went against Sabah Hamasi. The guys were just swinging. I'm a little bit concerned that he could come in here and just start swinging for the fences, but that's what he seems to do, and he can knock guys out very, very quickly. I just don't think Lassez, to me, has got the power that's going to make Alhassan kind of respect his power. Really, I think he's just going to come in and barrel forward and knock this guy out. Lassez, when I watch his fight, he's long. He's called the Sniper. He's nicknamed the Sniper for a reason. I think he's getting on this card predominantly through fighting in the Abu Dhabi, kind of the Middle East kind of scene. And he looks okay. I've seen him been a couple of firefights, seen him been taken down, seen him kind of held down a little bit, can reverse position. I've seen a few fights, but this is a massive jump up in opposition, in my opinion, to what he's been facing in Brave. I just like the power of this guy. The guy is so scary. I mean, that knockout of Nico Price, he just backed him up, and the shots he was hitting were just next level power shots, and we've seen that in his UFC run. If like I say, if this fight, if he doesn't get it out early, then it becomes a little bit sketchy. But I'm not one of these max bet guys. I never have been. 5 unit this, max bet that. But I've put 500 on Alhassan at minus 200. I think, I don't know where the line is at now. Let me check. Minus 260 or something. Let me see. I've lost the line. Minus 290. So more money's come in. I think there's more value on him at minus 290. I think he should be minus 350, minus 400. I think he can get this guy out there. Even if the fight goes long, I still think the power is with Alhassan at all points of the fight. I think he can knock this guy out. I just don't think Lassez has got the power to keep this guy away. And I think he's going to be right in his face and he's going to be throwing those power strikes. So I've got Alhassan and I've got him via a first round knockout. And I'm going to be kind of sweaty during that fight, but I still think he can absolutely rip him out of there very, very quickly. So I've got Alhassan, first round knockout. Molly McCann against Talia Santos, close fight, but I'm going with Molly in this one. I think you've got the more technical strike on Talia Santos. I was not really impressed with her UFC debut, but I was impressed with some of her technical strike, and I think she's got that there. The thing I didn't like is she was being held up against the cage against Mara Romero Barella. I definitely think that she had the advantage in the pure striking there, and I still think that she's got the pure kind of technical striking advantage there, but I think Molly can actually mix it up. A lot of people were really not super high when she went to the UFC. I actually bet Gillian Roberts in her debut there via submission. She was a massive underdog there, and all the hype was on Molly. But since then, I think Molly's shown that she's made adjustments in her game. She's made big improvements. She's mixed it up. I still think she gets hit a little bit too much. The Priscilla fight there in that third round, she was getting hit a little bit too much for my liking. Came in there against Ariane Lipski, got some well-timed takedowns, dominated on the ground there. Threw a lot of output against Belbita, but also mixed it up and got takedowns. I really, really like that, and I think that's how she kind of wins this fight here. If she stands things as well on the feet, she's very, very scrappy, and you've seen that in the kind of Cage Warriors run. She was fighting kind of a lot of no names during her run there in Cage Warriors, but she can throw down, she can absolutely scrap there, but I think she can mix it up. And you have to think that Santos realises that with her technical striking that girls are going to try and kind of clinch up with her, push her against the cage, take her down. So maybe she's made improvements there. I see it being very close, honestly. I think that she could come out, Santos could come out early, maybe take the first. And I'm a little bit concerned about Molly's kind of maybe cardio during this fight, but I think the first round's going to be a big thing. If Molly can take that, I think she wins the fight. I think she can mix up more. I think she can take the fight to the ground. And like you guys are saying in the chat there, she's fought a lot of like 0 and 10, 0-2, 0-5 fighters. So probably the better opposition is coming on the Molly McCann side. She's plus 100 over here in the UK. I need to make up my mind whether I'm going to bet that, because she's someone that interests me a lot. She's the dog. I think money will come in on her during fight week in the next couple of days, actually, because I keep forgetting it's a Wednesday card. So I'm going to take Molly McCann. I'm going to win it. I'm going to take her to win via decision, but she might come through some squirrely bits in this fight, but I think she can mix it up and win the fight through that. So I've got Molly. Come on, Molly. She's one of the nicest girls as well, by the way, so hopefully she can get this win here and continue her run in the UFC. Where are we? This was a fight that got made in the last, 4 or 5 days? Jimmie Rivera against Cody Stamann. And I am kind of struggling with this fight, if I'm being honest with you, because I think it's very, very well matched. And I'm surprised that Cody's jumping back in there so quickly after, obviously, what happened with his brother last time out. I thought he fought a great fight against Brian Kelleher. Really, I think his striking looked the best it ever has. He really mixed it up well there too. But Jimmie Rivera's a guy that you forget he can fight with the top guys in that division. It's very hard to take down, which is something that Cody, I think, will look to try and do. He is at a reach disadvantage as well. I mean, Rivera, we've not seen him in like a year. I'm just interested to see him back, because obviously he's lost to the two guys at the top at 135. You've obviously got the champion Peter Yan, who's got the strap now, and you've got Aljamain Sterling who's going to fight him for the belt probably in October. I heard they're going back to Abu Dhabi to fight they could make there. And obviously he was knocked out by Marlon Moraes. John Dodson, he got back on track there, but I'm just interested to see how this fight goes. It's £145, which is a good idea. Obviously, both guys coming in here on short notice, but I'm just interested to see how this fight goes, and I think that it's going to be very, very... I think that Jimmie's got the more power, but I think you can get his chin. I think you can definitely put some combinations on there. But Cody's not a power guy, but I did like what I've seen in this last fight. I'm just surprised this fight's actually happening. Actually, I just did not see this coming at all. I don't think Cody's going to be able to get him down, so then it becomes a pure striking fight. I'm like, you've got the power, and then the kind of maybe more technique of Cody Stamann. Yeah, honestly, I'm struggling with this one. I was watching Cody Stamann fights this morning thinking this is a kind of one of these smelly split decisions kind of written all over it. He's had a kind of couple of them, the Song Yadong one, which was very close, probably should have been more on the Stamann side. We had a couple of really bad kind of actually talking last night of scorecards. There was a couple of bad scorecards last night. I thought Shumagulov should have won. I thought Zaleski probably should have won. And I bet Paiva, so I think that Shumagulov should have probably got that. But I am going to take the dog. I'm going to take Cody Stamann. Oh, actually. Yeah, I'm going to take a gut feeling pick on Cody Stamann via split decision, but I'm not confident, honestly. Yeah, I'm not confident in that fight at all. I'm looking forward to watching it though. Two guys, kind of smaller guys for 135. But I'll take Cody Stamann. Not confident. Split decision win there. Tim Elliott against Ryan Benoit. Tim Elliott, man, that guy. He was running roughshod in Brendan Royval last time and then gassed. Did not see that coming. That guy cost me money big time in the DraftKings tournament I was in. Was doing great, was getting the takedowns, was not getting into kind of any bad positions, and then getting to he just gassed and then got taken out. The guy, honestly, he's so hard to trust, but his game is that he's got this kind of game that can really blow through guys with his takedowns, positioning, but he's striking, his chin is there to be hit. We've seen him, I think it was Askarov that absolutely put him on his backside with a beautiful shot. But it's hard to, and he's coming back in here. When was that fight actually against Brandon Royval? That couldn't have been long ago. Early June maybe? Late May. So coming back in, 6 weeks notice after that submission, which is fair enough. He didn't really take all that much damage. It was kind of more, he just gassed and got caught against a guy who's very, very good on the ground. So you look at Ryan Benoit here, he's a guy that's kind of cost me money in the past. I bet him against Haile Alateng, and I thought he was doing okay in that fight. He was probably on his way to maybe losing that fight, if I'm being honest with you. Beat Ashkan Mkhitaryan, which is never a good look, which is never really a good win in my opinion. He's not great, but caught him with a nice head kick there in the third round. Went to a split with Brandon Moreno. Seen he's been working with Gary Tonin for this one, so hopefully he's been kind of sharpening those jiu-jitsu skills. Gary Tonin, one of the best guys kind of on the mat down there. Honestly, it's hard to be confident in this spot here. You've got someone in... What is... Actually, let me see the record of Tim Elliott in the UFC. Is it like 4-9? 4-10 maybe? 4-9 in the UFC. So this guy predominantly doesn't really win that many fights in the UFC. I think as a pure striker, I think Benoit, if he threw a little bit more, he's got a little bit of power there. We've obviously seen the Sergio Pettis knockout back in the day. If he can stop takedowns frequently in this fight here, I think he could win. But again, I'm not super confident in this one. Like, I'm kind of dead to Tim Elliott after what he did against Brendan Royval, because I just did not see that, like the gas and assassin coming. But then I've got someone in Ryan Benoit that you can really... jeez. I had money on last time and he kind of screwed me there. What are you guys in the chat thinking? I'm thinking I'm going to go Ryan, honestly. I'd just rather take a shot. I think he's underdog. He's plus 105 here in the UK. Dog or pass, but this could be one of those spots here where he gets taken down. I don't know. I'm going to take Ryan Benoit. Not super not super confident. I'll take him to win that one there via decision. But yeah, I'm kind of being in myself there. I could really kind of beat myself up with this one next time because, like I say, Timmy Elliott can maybe come out here, maybe grab a submission, but I don't know. I'll take Ryan Benoit. Not confident. It's going in my top three least confident picks. And the main event, Calvin Kattar against Dan Ige. This line, in my opinion, is off. Dan Ige plus 240 should be lying closer. I definitely believe that Kattar should be the rightful favourite. But plus 240 and a guy like Dan Ige, we've seen that this guy is a live dog in all these fights. Yeah. Obviously, you've got the more crisper technical guy in Calvin Kattar, who I think has some of the best pure boxing in the UFC. I think once he puts his combinations together, it's very, very dangerous. Starts a little bit slow, does Calvin Kattar, which is a little bit of a worry. He was kind of, Jeremy Stephens was getting off a little bit. That finish, that elbow was absolutely devastating. I think cardio advantage actually goes to Calvin Kattar as well. I think as the fight goes on, I think he can throw a lot of output. I think Dan Ige can maybe try and take the fight to the ground. He might have an advantage there. Probably it's the better jiu-jitsu as Dan Ige, but like I say, Dan Ige to me is... I was on the Edson Barboza side last time out, and I was gutted because I thought Barboza should have nipped that fight. I thought he should have won that fight, but it was that close that you can't really complain that Ige took it. Obviously beat Mirsad Bektic. Like, the guy's got a good run of fights. Jordan Griffin, Danny Henry, Kevin Aguilar. He's made the right step-ups in each of those fights, because when I seen him against Arce, I thought he was going to be a middling kind of featherweight. And then he's just kind of made the step-ups. Griffin into Henry. Henry was obviously in a bit of a streak there where he won a couple of fights, and then he really just ran through him very quickly, first round submission. Beat Kevin Aguilar, was planting his feet, was landing some big shots, and then he's made the step up to Mirsad Bektic and then onto Barboza, who was making his first jump down to 145, but initially you seen the speed of Barboza, put him down there in the first round. I think maybe, did he put him down in the second round again? But like I say, I might be a wee bit salty in that one because I bet Barboza, but you can't really take it away from Ige. He really fought his heart out in that fight and really, just like I say, fought his heart out. But then you've got Calvin Kattar here. To me, I like Calvin Kattar in this spot. I think that run comes to an end. I like the technical strike, and I think that sometimes Ige as well can take maybe parts of the fight off to maybe try and get some of that juice back for the next round or whatever. I don't think that Calvin Kattar's going to allow him to really take time off. He's going to pepper him with strikes. So that's kind of how I see this fight kind of going, is just Kattar landed the more technical, better shots. I think he could take Ige out, even though Ige is very, very tough. But I'm going to take Calvin Kattar. I think this could run late. And I think the accumulation of strikes could maybe start to get to Ige. And Ige, I mean, they fought, 2 months ago? And he kind of took a lot of damage in that fight against Barboza as well. Anytime you get dropped and you get hit with some of the shots that Barboza was hitting him with, you probably need a little bit more time to kind of really set yourself up for this kind of fight. So I'm going to take Calvin Kattar. I'm going to take him via probably a 4th or a 5th round TKO, if not a fairly comprehensive decision. And he is a parlay piece that I like. But there's a couple of guys in here that I could parlay in the next couple of fight night cards as well that I quite like. So I'm going to take Calvin Kattar round 4th or 5th round TKO. So thank you to all you guys in the chat there. I see we've got 50 guys in the chat, or 50 guys watching, which is awesome. If any of you guys would like to hit the thumbs up button, I'd much appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, please hit the sub button and help me grow the channel. I'm trying to get to 4,000 subs by the end of the year. I think I can do it, even though I've got a good 5 months left. I think I can definitely hit that 4,000, which will be another massive milestone for me. So until when will I get? I've started watching fights on Figueiredo against Benavidez. Who knows if that fight's happening, because Figueiredo, there was a whole thing with COVID, but it looks like he's fine. If not, we've got Pantoja, who's about to jump into that spot with Benavidez if that fight can't go ahead. So I will probably have that out Wednesday for Saturday. So yeah, until Wednesday, guys, I will schedule that there. Come and join me for that. And until next time, guys, all the very, very best. And thank you for sticking with me for the last 34 minutes. Take care and enjoy the card when it comes around on Wednesday night. And let's go, Abdul, Razak, Alhassan, cash that bet. Let's go. Peace.